Thank you so much. I really wanted to, also get that clarification. But like you said, communication, I think communication really makes it easier. I mean, when they are speaking, it's not like you can't hear what they are saying. So nobody's thinking, it's me they are talking about and all of that. So
Yeah.
thank you. So let's talk about 7 years married. Yeah. I've had, some couples on this channel, I think that are like 6, 7. I'm not sure I've had 10 years married yet. So whenever I get to talk to, people who have been married for more than 5 years, I feel like they've got like this loads of experience. 7 is quite a lot. And I really just thank God for how far God has brought you. What would you say are the lessons you've learned in these 7 years? If you want to, share some of them with us, what would you say they have been really? How, like, I asked you when we started, how has the journey been? And, Sonja was saying that it's not even something you can put in just one word, right? So let's talk about the lessons. What lessons, have you learned in these 7 years that you would like to, share with us? This is like a deep question.
It depends if you're referring to lessons inside the marriage.
Oh no.
It will be a lot of different things really. For me, I think one of the lessons that I personally learned, it will be communication. Communication is really very important, because not communication breeds a lot of, when there's no communication really, it leads to a lot of things, a lot of unexpected things. It can lead to...
Uncle Charles, let me interject you. So when people say communication, what exactly does it mean in marriage? Because I hear it a lot, right? Every marriage counselor, they will say number one, communication. It's not communication we are doing here. It's not communication we do in our everyday life, right?
Yeah.
Even that the one in marriage is different. Does it come with some special kind of value? Because I really need to understand, what does this communication really mean? What does it entail really?
Well, for me, it could mean a lot of things to different persons, but really from what I've seen, from my own experience, communication involves a lot of things. There are different aspects of communication, and communication is just means talking to your partner, letting them understand situations, letting them know what's going on, letting them know transparency. So communication is not just talking. Communication also involves listening. So sometimes you have to listen to even the non-verbal cues of your partner. So even when your partner she could be acting somehow. She's not saying anything, but she could be just acting somehow. That's communication. That's making you understand something is going on. So it involves you listening. So if your partner, for example, if she's non-verbal, she's not saying, like maybe we're in this house and my wife hasn't said anything throughout the day. She has not said anything. She has not spoken a word throughout the day. Now you will probably say she has not communicated. But then she has said something, because you know that this is not my marriage. From morning to night. Now, if it's somebody you are not married to, for example, maybe it's just your random friend, and maybe your friend has not spoken to you throughout the day. But you may not see that as a big deal. And maybe they are doing something. But in the house, somebody you are married to, and then this is not their usual self. And then she hasn't spoken throughout the day. Now, she has communicated something now. It's left for you now to listen. But listening is also part of communication. Now, not listening is always the beginning of misunderstanding. So if you are not listening, you are misunderstanding something. So if you have not said anything, you only what's happening? She has not said anything. So you have to initiate something. What's happening? Why have you not spoken? Not said anything? Are you okay? Is everything all right? Is everything fine? So it's when women from our own experience now, if they are giving you clues and you're not catching it, you are the one in the wrong. You can say that, but you didn't say anything now. I'm an angel now. But they will say tell you, you're an angel. So you cannot say anything.
When I didn't say anything, you did not ask.
So here you get now. So that's the point. So yeah, so you must listen. Listen is part of communication. It's part of understanding what is going on. So communication is not just about talking, it's about showing concern. That's also part of communication. So because it is when you do this kind of things that you begin to understand what is missing, or what you are not doing, or what you are expected to do. Women often expect you to be even if they will say, well, I don't expect you to be a Superman, I don't want you to be an angel, I don't want you to be Jesus and all of that. But in reality, in functionality, in the way they function, in the way in reaction, the way they react. They actually want you to be. They want you to be a Superman. They want you to be. They want you to be a hero.
I want
Even
to
when they
block
tell you,
my face.
I know you are human being and all of that. But as a husband, they don't want you to be. I mean, I'm just saying this lightly, but it's the reality. They don't want you to be a human being. They want you to be an angel because they want you to show superhuman capabilities. The woman will not talk to you, but she expects you to understand what is going on. So it's still part of. So you must come with that mindset, that understanding of expectations of your wife as a husband. And so communication involves listening to your wife, both verbal and non-verbal cues, which your friends may not expect you to do, but your wife will expect you to do that. And when she's waking up and then she's slow to wake up from the bed, unusually she's expecting you to say that what's happening? Why are you? What's happening? She's expecting you to ask, is there anything I can do for you? Even when you say you are still on the bed, self. Kind of thing. So you must learn. So that's just what communication is about. So it's just about listening. It's about and also letting your mind know, opening up to someone like especially Ben. I don't know about that one for me. Now, I'm not a very good talker in the sense that I'm not really a talking person like that. I'm more of a quiet person like that. But it has shown that it's not a very good thing once you are married to be a very quiet. I still maintain that quietness most of the time, but I'm usually not quiet like I would love to be if my wife is at home. Because my wife is a funny type, she's the playful type, she's this. I mean, she's a whole vibe. So if I'm in this house, and this house must be one of Mr. Bamuston vibes.
You must be our vibes.
So having an understanding and shedding a part of yourself to blend into your spouse or who your partner is. It's also that communication is communicating your feelings, letting your feelings known, being open to your partner and let them know, talking, shedding troubles, issues. And because when you understand what is going on, if my husband has maybe something that's troubling her, something that's troubling her, and I open up, and she will understand when I'm quiet. She'll be able to help more. So is it because of this thing, or is it because of that? But when you are not talking, when you are not communicating, she doesn't really know what's happening. She doesn't really know what the situation is. She doesn't know whether you want quiet or if it's something you're thinking about. So, I mean, it's a whole lot actually. But I mean, she can speak more about maybe this aspect of it. But for me, that's one of the things I've learned about it, that sharing your heart and understanding your partner, listening. I mean, that's a very fundamental part of communication. Not just talking. You also have to be a good listener, to be a good communicator as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, communication is. I know it sounds easy, but it's hard in marriage. I'll say that. Like you need to be intentional about it, because when you're getting married, there's certain expectations where you feel like, oh, husband should know everything. He should be able to, like, there's this kind of expectation you have different from maybe friendships, because marriage, you really expect some things and all of that. So when maybe things are falling out, because it's an emotional thing, it affects differently. It affects differently. Maybe, oh, you expected your husband to do this, or maybe you felt, oh, he wasn't loving enough, or maybe you needed something, but you were in a particular stage, you felt, oh, you should know that, oh, I'm really down. You should know that you should do this. Already you are hurt that, oh, you didn't even notice that this is happening to you. You're hurt that, oh, you're even hurt that you even need to now open your mouth to say it. I'm talking from a female perspective now. Like, so I need to even talk before you can get this thing, before you can even realize this has been done. So for a woman, it's on like two levels. Like, I am a husband, though. You don't even have to take it away. So you never do. So all those things. So that's why I said you have to be intentional and do what is right. Don't let your emotions override you. When issues happen, try to. It's hard sometimes. Try to deal with them as soon as possible and express yourself. Another thing I would also say is have some ground rules. Have some ground rules regarding communication. One thing I learned early enough is that, okay, I think we made the rule for ourselves. No matter what is happening, no matter how heated, how hot you feel and everything, we can't raise voice at each other. Like, Do you get? So, and I've learned that over time. I think we only had that issue once in the initial stages of our marriage. That maybe, and when that happens, we caution each other. It's either I say, yeah, you're raising your voice. We caution each other. I think it has just happened once. So I think that alone, it makes you to be, no matter the odds, no matter how painful, no matter whatever. When we are having a conversation, the way I'm talking, this is what we'll be talking about it. So when you're calm, because you know that, and there's a fundamental thing. Fine, I know you love me. I know you love me. I know that you cannot intentionally hurt me. So no matter how hurt we can, I think those are some of the ground rules that help. So because it also helps you to choose your words carefully, and he also helped me because I'm somebody that if something is tugging at my heart, I'm very expressive. I will explain. I'm very emotional. I will just say attitude. But the first time I knew that words mean a lot to him was when we got married. I knew that he loved. We were both in literature. We both have literature backgrounds, but he's on another level. Like he'll be watching like novels, plays. He knows them often. Well, they show in car. Can read the whole pages in the head. When Shakespeare, he will be quoting. He'll be watching film. He'll be saying this word for word. I said, so fascinating.
Another level.
Yeah, and I remember I think we had a disagreement or something, and I think I just said some words. I mean, the way it mattered to him, I said, he reached this level. So since that time, so that has really helped me grow. So I think we have passed that stage. So no matter what, you have to choose your words carefully. You have to say it in the most decent manner. Not because your aim is not to crush your partner. Your aim is to resolve the issue. So why do you want to make somebody feel pain? Like you want to punish him? We're having a conversation about it. You know, it's not a revenge plan. The communication, the style of communication is not him that's getting your own pound of flesh. Like this one, you can talk about this in a civil manner and to make sure that everything reaches a good agreement. I think another important thing is there will always be difficult conversations in marriages. Don't shy away from those difficult conversations because we grow. Sometimes perspectives towards life. Sometimes even your partner can just do something that is strange or you're not pleased with, and you need to have some difficult conversations. Don't take too much. I mean, at this point of my life, maybe I've grown. I don't like wahala. Like I don't want any baggage. As in this life is too full. Yeah, so you offend me, I'll carry it. So these days, I want to be light. I don't even have that energy to, carry things for a long time. So difficult conversations will be hard, but you need to always have it. And also evaluating yourselves is also very, very important because if you're not careful, marriage, you just be living that like, everybody's busy. Especially when you're coming, you will forget yourself. You will not know what's happening in the life of your partner. By the time you come to them, become strangers. And things might have changed. So one thing I always try to do is that we are evaluating ourselves really matter. Maybe we don't put a time to it, but usually I'm the one that just come randomly and just ask questions. Sometimes it may not be formal. I can just start anytime. Is it now? I want to be saying this thing. I'm that kind of a person. But I believe that evaluating ourselves makes us know, okay, like this is intentionally asking, is there any other thing I can do more? What do you think I've been doing that you don't like? How do you want to improve? And you also get to know, different perspectives currently about your individual partner and how you can be better. Okay, what are we not good at? What should we improve on? And all of that. So those are ways and levels of communication.
Oh. This is I feel like it's like a master class.
How much?
This is a whole new dimension. I'm serious. This is so good. This is so good. Thank you so much. Wrapping up now because again I don't want to take too much of your time, but I want to ask a question. Is there anything such as privacy in marriage? I'm asking because yes. So I mean, I've been seeing some things, going on around on social media now, where somebody will say, "Oh, I told you something. I didn't expect you to tell your husband. I told you in confidence. Why did you tell your wife?" Something like that. Is there anything? Because I've honestly said I'm going to ask, anybody who I know has married for long. Is there anything such as privacy in marriage? Is there something that somebody should tell you that you will not be able to tell your spouse or something like that? What do you think?
You see, that's it's It's a difficult one actually, and it also depends on situations. Depends on who the person is and what the issue is, and because if somebody tells you something in confidence, telling somebody else, whoever the person is a breach of the person's privacy. So with that must be very clear. If somebody tells me something that's secret to him, if I tell somebody else, it means that without the person's knowledge, I've told somebody else already. So that's definitely a breach of privacy. Now there's this other aspect of the person you are telling now is your spouse, which if you were to, whether it is spiritual or whether it is the way it should be, it's like you're better half, it's like you are one.
So as a
So it's like telling your spouse, it's like you want to say, well, I'm still telling myself, that kind of thing. But then you must know that it's somebody's privacy, it's a private talk. So if it's really a private talk, like if a friend tells me that maybe he's having issues in his marriage, for example, and my wife doesn't know me, and why am I telling my wife? Is it because I need her advice? In that case, I'll share with my wife and say, I have a friend who is having this issue and I don't know how to resolve it. Can you help me? Now, I'm not telling my wife who the person is. I'm not telling who, or so like she will know and be maybe looking at the person that this one is even having issues with his family and all of that.
My wife should think
No, I'm not talking about her. I'm just saying generally now. What the purpose of you telling your spouse?
Yeah, I get you.
If you are talking to your spouse for help or solution, now it's a different case. Now, that's a different case to saying, if oh my family, they have an issue con this brother. No, that's a different case now. Now the reason you are telling your spouse that is like it's like a gossip, actually. And as Christians, we will not do that. So those are two different things entirely now. Now, if it's a family that my wife knows, we have a lot of friends who are confided in us and all of that. Sometimes like I'll tell my wife, do you want me to like maybe they are having some issues, or maybe it's the wife that speaks to me about it. And I'll be like, okay, I'll to see where she can help. Now, I've already let her know that I'm going to discuss my partner. Some people know me already. Some people know us already that whatever you tell this one, there is a possibility that I will tell this one. So what do you want me to hear? Possibly don't tell her. And all of that. Or maybe you tell her that, don't tell my child, so this is between us and all of that. If it's a women matter, for example, maybe it's a women issue. Of course, she will probably not want to tell me. I mean, what do I want to do with that? If it's a woman issue now, it's not as if I have an advice to give her. It's not as if and she can bring it up in prayer and say, one sister like that. So I don't need to dig further if it's not something that concerns me, or if it's not something that she needs help with like that. So it depends, like I said, it all depends on what the situation is and if the person will be offended if you told your wife. So if she told you in confidence, don't tell anybody. I said, my wife won't go. I said, don't tell her. I know it's something peculiar to him. I think it's just decent to just keep it between the two of you. If it's not something, it's not a secret affair. You're not saying it's not a relationship issue, all of that. It's just something personal that person is dealing with. And somebody's having an issue. There are many times people have spoken to me, but now it's difficult to keep something away from my wife. So if it's something like that, the person knows that I do somebody else, she might be offended. I tried as much as well to keep their privacy and still keep it private. Just somebody, this is issue the person is, let's pray, or how can I handle it? What do you want me to? How do you want me to talk to her about it? So about many of those issues, especially when it concerns maybe some younger girls and how to go about it. So I think that it all depends for me. You can, because you always have the time that you're having different conversation, you have to say, you just say it out. All of that, maybe not intentionally or something, because of the kind of relationship you have with your spouse. There's no embargo, there's no secret, there's no talk area. You talk about everything and all of that. Maybe it's something that is deeply concerning. Of course, I can tell my wife. It's something that she can advise me with, just for her to give me an advice on how to go about it. If there are family people that we know about, we've always shared their issues before. We always talk about it. The idea, the bottom line, if you're going to talk about somebody's privacy with your spouse, it all boils down to intent. It all boils down to why. It all boils down to what is the purpose. Are you gossiping about it? Or you're telling your spouse because you need help, because you want to pray together about it, because you want to seek help, how to handle it, or how to. So it all depends on all of that. So for me, I think it depends on context, depends on situation, but you must always know that people have privacy that you must respect.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. And do you want to add one or two lines?
It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one because I don't know really. It's a tricky one. I know that there are situations that maybe maybe somebody might be shielded from a particular information maybe before, because you know that it's going to maybe impact their health, or maybe for that time they can't handle, it's going to just affect them negatively. Let me just talk about health, because I know that it's something I can relate to it, because it's something that, you know, we've, like maybe the past few years, maybe a family member is not feeling too well, and you know that it's you can't add, maybe it's a bad news or something like that. You can't add that to it. You just have to shield that person for the person's sanity and for the person's health. I know that there are situations like that where, in fact, it will even be like a common agreement among every other person. We love this person, but no, this person, let us shield this person from this in good faith, just because it's not because it's something negative, but if it's on the negative side, because oftentimes most of these issues where people say, oh, secrecy. Oftentimes, it's always something fishy, about it. And when there's too much of, because except if maybe that secret, that confidential information, fine. Maybe if it is there's another level, maybe work or something, maybe confidential files or there's nothing concerned. I don't have any business with that. That is work related. Those are confidential information. But then when we're talking about maybe other things that would also get you involved, I don't see a reason like you have to, it's going to impact the family, like you have to, like it can't just be something that you have to really dig your neck into. Your spouse will have an understanding. If you are fully involved in it, maybe, oh, I have to keep late, I have to stay back late, I have to follow this person to this place. I mean, there's really no reason. I mean, no one will want to be out of that kind of picture, no matter the level of whatever. You still need to communicate and say, oh, this is what is happening. I have to attend to that. So I would say there's no yes and no answer, but generally there should be transparency. Like generally there should be transparency. That's what I would say. There should be transparency.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Whoa, it's been an amazing time, talking to you. As we round up, this one has to just be one advice for single people like us who are coming behind you. Those of us who are coming behind, what advice would you give to the single people? Single people, they are talking to you, single people. All right, ma, what advice would you give?
Listening to you, I think.
Well, I'm not married, sir. I'm single.
We understand the answer.
More single, sir. More single. There's no ring on my finger.
Every single ring in your see, single but not certain. Because of the delicacy of the way I say married, and from all the things I'm saying, things I've had, even though I know that sometimes, except for those who are very close to me that I can so I usually talk to and tell them my mind. I feel very sometimes reluctant to tell people about mine, because mine is a very delicate issue. But on a general note, what I always tell people is, especially young ladies, for example, I always tell them that for me, I've always told my younger ones to always first think about becoming a woman before becoming a mother. Now, you want to think about what's the difference between a woman and a mother. Now, a woman is, for me, the way I say woman is somebody who knows where she's going. Knows what she's going. Now, that's my own, the way I'm defining, the way when I say think about becoming a woman before you think about becoming a mother. Now, this is where I explain this in this context, that a woman is, for me, to say I am a woman, it means that you know where you are going, you know what you're doing, you know your purpose in life, you know what is driving your existence, you know what you want out of life. So marriage is not just a bus stop. It should not just be, it's not a destination. For me, marriage is just supposed to be a vehicle that takes you to your destination. So as a woman, you already know where you're going. So marriage just comes in as a vehicle to help you get to the place you're going to. So it's not a destination in itself. As some of what you see many young people do, they feel, I want to get married. And for some, marriage is just their destination. I want to get married and become a mother. Just start giving birth to children and be taking care of children and all of that. That's very good. It's a noble thing to do, to have children and take care of children. But that should not be a final bus stop. That should not be a destination. There's also the purpose. There's also your own personal dreams, your own, what you want to become, how you want to impact society. It doesn't have to be something marvelous or something extraordinary. But at least you have an idea where you are going, because that is why even if marriage is delayed, you are not despondent, you are not grounded in life. Because I'm not married, and then you can't move forward in life. That's where the problem is. But if you are already have a purpose that is driving your life, you have an idea. That's for me. That's a woman becoming a woman. That's where you're not depending on maybe parents, or you're not depending on. It's not as if you are not dependent on
Friends.
people, but at least you have an idea. You are a person of your own, emotionally stable, responsible of your own life and all of that. And then, so when you know that, when you are focused, you are moving that, and now, of course, marriage come in, and then you become a mother. But if your own idea is to become a mother first, just have children, just get married, have children, all of that, before you become emotionally stable, or before you begin to take responsibility for your life and all of that. That's the challenge. So that's what I always tell people, first of all, have a purpose. Let something drive your life and all of that. Marriage should not be a final bus stop for you. It should just be something that takes you where you're going. And then you have to know where you're going if you want to get to the place. So that's one. And two is to always pray. I know that most people in this generation, people just say, position yourself so that people can see you and all of that. You have to be going to, like they were saying recently on social media, you have to position yourself where people will see you. No, that can be very tricky thing, really. So, but for me, I mean, for a Christian, I believe that Christians should pray for who to get married to. Have an idea, have a dream husband or a dream man. And when I say that, is to have an understanding of what God wants, who God wants you to get married to. God wants to get married to someone who loves Him. God wants to get married to somebody who is broken. I won't say that an unbroken Christian cannot be a godly spouse. If you have a Christian who just goes to church, who's not broken, I mean, who is all about self, who is all about themselves, who is all about themselves, they're not broken, it's going to be difficult to be a godly spouse, really, because in the home, you have to be broken. There are times when, even when you are in the right, maybe you have to apologize to your spouse so that that situation can be clear. And then it takes a broken man to get that done.
Yeah.
So you need one who is broken. Maybe as a wife, you need someone. You need a man who can defend you, who can stand by you. Maybe in the face of in-laws, who is courageous, who always puts you first. No, those are conditions. Those are criteria that you can set for. So you already know what you want after that marriage, and then of course that's scriptural. And then you have to pray about it. So always say, know where you are going, pray about it, and always be on the lookout for what is not part of what you prayed for. Because different people will come. You will have good men friends or good female friends. But as a Christian, you can't get married to all of your good friends. So that's where prayer comes in, to understand. Because fundamentally, people change. You can see a very good brother today who is spiritual, who is friendly, who is loving. But what makes you think the next 5 years is not going to change? When circumstances come, when there's no money, when pressure comes, when this thing comes in the next 5 years, people can change. People who are Christians today and in 10 years are no longer Christians. So to have that insurance policy is where the prayer comes in, is where the God's lady comes in. Because God will choose for us based on the future. You will only choose based on the present. Oh, this person is nice, he's fine, he dresses well, fine shoe, fine belt, he uses perfume. It smells so nice and all of that. But what happens in the next 10 years when the person changes? And all of that. That's why I believe that the Christian, no matter what, you always pray, put God first, listen to Him. And also, it's good to be friendly, to have friends around. Your spouse can come from among your friends, your immediate friends. It can come from somebody you've not even known. Maybe you just recently met, and then friendship happens. Like for us, we're not really friends. It's not like we're childhood friends. We're not secondary school friends. We're not even university friends. But at least friendship happens somehow. When you're open-minded, more friendship comes. You are open-minded. It's not as if someone becoming my friend. Hope he's not looking for something. Let me run away.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. No, Uncle Charles, I know you to advise people. I know, but you have given. Thank you, Auntie Pucha. Do you want to add something to it? Maybe just one.
I would just say that if you're single, be happy. Enjoy the moment.
Somebody is obviously happy.
Yeah, enjoy the moment, because there are different seasons. There are different seasons in life. And that's what I usually say. If because you're in a season, you feel like you should have passed the season, or there's some things happening in that season of your life that you don't like, let it define every aspect, your journey through that season. You discover that you will never have a happy life. And that's not the goal of God. The goal of Christ is for us to be joyful, to live a life of joy. And even when you get what you want, when you become married, that's not the end of
Mhm.
challenges. Like I said earlier, you still have challenges, big ones that will stare you in the face. I'll be like, hey, how am I going to cross this Rubicon? But in the midst of everything, find reasons to be joyful, find reasons to be thankful for the season, and maximize the season you have, because it's precious. You might be desperate to live that season, but definitely if you don't maximize it, when you cross over, you will be longing, or you wish you had done more or maximize it. So that's one of the things I would say. Then secondly, I would say watch and pray. I would always say the watching is the aspect where you do your own work, because everything is not God. Everything is not about prayer. If you say that you are led, we need to see the fruits of righteousness. We need to see the fruits of that leading. If you say that, oh, you feel God is leading you to this, and the things you can even see with your eyes, they are not matching. I mean, you need to evaluate. So open your eyes, watch and pray. It is the two together, not either, not pray alone. No, you have to do two. Those are the two things. Maximize your season, watch and pray.
Thank you. Woo! Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's been an amazing time talking with you today. I'm really, really so grateful, and I'm thankful so much for your time. Thank you for sparing us this time to share with us and to talk to us. I'm really, really grateful. I do not take it for granted. Thank you so much.
That's a pleasure too. Thank you for
Thank
all that you are doing.
Wow, 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 ladies and gentlemen. How was that session? I told you that you are in for the best, didn't I? Didn't I? Didn't I? I told you. I told you. That was so good. That was so good. A session, like, there's just so much to learn and unpack. I mean, every guest on this channel comes with like a whole new level. Do you get, like, every guest comes to a whole new level because they're sharing from their experiences. They are, explaining real life examples, right? Real life examples, and they're letting us see how it is and sharing it with us. And I mean, I'm just so grateful to this couple. I'm so grateful, that they really obliged, us, obliged my request, and decided to be here. Until I come your way again another time. It's currently 11:51 p.m. My eyes are, yeah, reddish. I'm really tired, but I would always do this again and again. I mean, I really enjoy doing this. So yeah. I love it. If you're new here, please do ensure that you subscribe before you leave. Drop a comment if you have learned something. Of course, you know how we do it. Drop a word of prayer also, for our guests. And yeah, let me see your thumbs up. Let me see your likes. Let me see your shares. That would really, really encourage me. It would always, also let me do more. Thank you so much, everyone. Until I come your way again in another video. Do have a very lovely time. Bye.